Guten Morgen, allgemeines Glaubenbekenntnis. Mouthful. But this girl here comes from a country that has long words. Also the Brothers Grimm, probably the most famous gatherers of folklore and stories. And without them, there would be no Disney World and no manufacturers of lunchboxes with Cinderella on it. So let's go back and do it the right way. Good morning, All Faiths.
Good morning.
Welcome to All Faiths Unitarian Congregation. I'm Annalie Hudanick, and it is a great pleasure to welcome you to our service today. Here at All Faiths, you will find a diverse and inclusive spiritual community where we welcome people with many beliefs. You can bring your whole self, your full identity, your questioning mind, and an expansive heart. Here at All Faiths, we have more than one way of experiencing the world and understanding the sacred. No matter who you are, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, and no matter whom you love, you are truly welcome here. Is anyone visiting for the first or second time? If so, please raise your hands. Welcome. We are glad that you are here with us today. And to learn more about All Faiths, please see our membership co-chairs, Carol Latino, I don't see her, and or Dottie Mayol, I know she is here, right there, after our service at our Welcoming and Activity Center, just behind the folded doors, or visit our website, allfaithsuu.org. Now, the announcements are in the back of today's order of service. I'm not going to go through all of it because you are good students and you will read those yourself. However, please silence your cell phone because we all know what happens if you don't. Regina. I would like to welcome Doug and Diane Cartwright right now to come up and
By the way, I grew up on the Brothers Grimm. My mother read to me every night, and my favorite was Rumpelstiltskin.
Welcome. We're here to talk to you about time, treasure, and talent as part of our stewardship drive this year. Doug and I have been members of All Faiths since 2002, so that's 1 year after it started. And we retired from Indiana, teaching in Indiana, in 2001, and we were looking for someplace to go. We had been unchurched throughout our whole marriage, and we read some articles by this minister in the paper who was Wayne Robinson. And we just were drawn to this, couldn't figure out why would this minister be able to write things like that. We didn't talk like that in my church. And so we went to visit. And when we did, we felt very welcomed, and they've been our family ever since. And because they're part of our family, it's very important to us to consider how we can give back to our family, just like you would anybody in your family, with time, treasure, and talent. And we know that it's not always even. Not everyone can give evenly, but it is an and. It's not time, treasure, or talent. It's time, treasure, and talent, because we all want to be an active part of our family. So that's what we want to share with you today.
Are you done?
No.
Yappity. We only have 3 to 5 minutes.
Get started.
I'm very happy
We're very happy
to offer my testimony
to offer our testimonial
in support of the current pledge drive and its theme, I am not alone.
You are not alone.
That's what I said.
No, it's an indefinite you, which implies we are not alone.
You're going grammar police on me now? Remember, I was an English teacher.
We both were English teachers.
Oh, yeah, but I was chairman of the services support team.
We were co-chairs.
Oh, yeah. And I served on the board of directors
So did I,
as treasurer and vice chair.
as member and chair.
I have to turn the page because I can't.
As member and chair for 4 years,
Yeah.
while Margaret Beard was the minister.
You definitely win. But I wrote several programs for Christmas,
We wrote them together.
and I coordinated, acted, and directed one acts for the summer hiatus when All Face was at Crestwell.
And I acted in them.
I wrote and starred in the one-act play Oreos for an All Face fundraiser.
Sweetie, we were co-authors of that play and co-stars in that production.
Oh, yeah. But I directed and cast the Vagina Monologues, which raised over $1,600 for All Face.
Dearest, we directed and made those casting decisions mutually.
Oh, yeah. But I served as stewardship chair in charge of the pledge drives for 5 years.
Who do you think appointed you?
Oh, yeah. But I pledged every year and have donated extra for the purchase of this building and paying off the mortgage.
Honey bun, it's my money too.
I give up. I guess it's a good theme after all. I am not alone.
Sugar, the theme is you are not alone. The indefinite you, remember?
That's what I said.
Not this again.
Well, I guess it comes down to one thing. According to Bill Clontz, give not till it hurts.
Give till it feels good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I had to use the word I use at home a lot with my dog, stay. You are not alone, Doug. You have Diane. And you have all of us. And we are all family here. And from what they said, I don't have to tell you all the things they've done here at All Face. But I will share with you one thing that moves me regularly when I get their emails. Do you know their email address? Do or die. It's D-O is Doug or D-I is die, but I like do or die because that's the motto of their lives. They didn't retire. They got refired and inspired to continue doing every day. They do more than anybody I've ever known, and they've done so much of it here for All Face. They do a lot down at Shell Point. They are wonderful role models and examples of what we can all be. And so it is my great pleasure today to present to them our Flamekeeper Award for all their years of loving service to All Faith. So listen, do or die.
I would like to invite Linda Ranko to light the chalice. Please come up here. Let me introduce Linda to you. Longtime member of All Faith, mother to a very cute little puppy dog named Cooper.
That's true.
She lives in Indiana during the summer. And she likes Hallmark movies.
Only at Christmas.
Okay. And one more secret that's not a secret. She likes peanut butter and bacon.
All true.
Let's repeat the words together. For stories that long to be told and retold, for the stories that long to be imagined and reimagined, for the stories that long to be envisioned and celebrated, we kindle this chalice. Children are leaving now, so Carlos. Ours is a spiritual community where we find and forge connections. We trust in the strength of our mutual support, knowing how it has sustained us day after day, year after year. You are invited to recall the names of persons or places you are holding in your hearts, either as a source of concern or cause for celebration. As you feel moved, please rise and come forward, share briefly, please, and kindle a flame. These names and places have been heard and honored to...
Wait,
Oh,
she didn't say anything yet. Come on now.
I'm holding.
Good morning, I'm Becky Ross, and I just want to express my joy about the All Faiths picnic yesterday at Lakes Park. How many of you were there? A lot of folks. And this group turned an otherwise gloomy, cloudy day into something bright and sunny where we shared food and fellowship. And it's such a joy, and I do have something for someone. It might be the person who brought those amazing plantains, so see me afterwards.
No, it was a curry one.
Whoops.
Who's in my face?
Anyway.
But we do have to say, Becky and I really love this thing.
Oh.
It became a microphone yesterday.
It's true.
We serenaded the park. What was our song? Who remembers what we were singing? A rose. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. That I may know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring you a rose in the winter time.
Yeah, we're definitely better with the fake mic. I'll put it back in the window of the kitchen.
Well, let's light a joyful candle.
Yes, her.
Okay.
The curry plantains.
Okay, it's probably Joan.
Of presidents, but one president I do remember was Jimmy Carter. May he rest in peace, his Southern pride and joy, and how he really pulled our community together. And I think we need his spirit now than ever. I saw his funeral, and it was wonderful to see all of the children, especially Amy Carter. I didn't remember the boys. I thought Amy Carter was actually an only child. But yeah, a lot of people did. So I was really touched. Business aside, and just sit there and reflect on a great man, a good man, a Southern man. Yeah, he made some mistakes, but he ran this country by his faith. And as a Christian, as he was, I wish to God I would have been able to gone to one of his Sunday school classes. But I was told that I could see it on, I can listen to it on audio, so that's something I will do if I can find it. But may he rest in peace. He's up there with his wife and his mother, Miss Lillian. And I'll tell you how liberal he was. In a Playboy magazine, he said how he lusted for he lusted in his heart. That's a good fact.
Anyone else? Joy, sorrows, concerns? Louis.
Hi, I'm Louis Robinson. I'm a member of the board as well as a member of the justice teams. Two issues. We passed out some on the bulletin board, the sign-up sheets for Martin Luther King Day, the 19th. We certainly need to get those sign-up sheets filled. That's really a joy to be there. And I'd like to call your attention to June 24th, Raising Liberty Square. Okay, sorry, Raising Liberty Square, January 24th. We are intrinsically connected to this housing situation. And we're we got a grant from UUA. Joan Marshall and I did a survey, and lucky to do that in Dunbar, and realize with that survey some of the difficulties that these communities have, and that will be part of this presentation. We were also there when HUD came out, I think that was around 2018, to do their presentation. It is surprising. Up to now, we're seeing on June 24th. Thank you.
Yes, please come out and join us on January 24th for Raising Liberty Square. Louis has June in his mind. That means he's ready for summer.
Hi, I'm Linda Arthur. I have a personal joy to share. On Thursday, I had my last appointment with my oncologist. I am now officially a cancer survivor.
Congratulations. That's a wonderful report. Wonderful report. Yay! Yes, we are so glad to hear that. Anyone else? Joy, sorrows, gratitudes. Come and kindle the flame. Sharon.
Sharon Gray, and on a broader concern and sorrow, the fires in California. Indirectly, I have people that, my son who lives out in Desert Pyre, whose daughter lives close to the Palisades, has evacuated. So keep them in your prayers and thoughts, but send money for donations that are, valid charities. They need help. Thank you.
Anyone else?
These names and places have been heard and honored together in this community. Alongside these, we know are certain joys, sorrows, and gratitudes that remain private and unspoken. Those too have a rightful place here. We light this final lamp for all of you and for those at home who carry joy, sorrows, and gratitudes. These kindled lamps remind us that we are kindred souls, never alone in the human condition, and that there is a love that cares for all. May every good and perfect gift be yours. Amen and Ashe. In the unity of the Spirit, in the sanctity of this gathering, let us quiet ourselves as we settle into a meditative moment, a time when we can each listen to that still, small voice within and prepare our heart and mind for today's service.
Please rise in body or soul as we sing Spirit of Life, number 123, Spirit of Life.
Good morning, all faiths. Our opening words in prayer for this morning is called Meeting What Arrives. Not to leave until he had learned something significant enough that he can teach it to others to relieve their suffering. Finally, after 30 years, he announced that it was time for him to go. The important lesson, and meet what arrives. The Buddhist parable as retold by the author. I had a chance to practice meeting what arrives under very different circumstances than a monastery. I was driving along on the highway behind a giant truck hauling dirt, soil. The reason I knew what it was carrying is that a black tarp on the top was secured and it kept flapping. It wasn't that secure. It was flapping so much that I could tell this thing might fly off at any moment. But I had to stay present. Stay aware of that tarp that's right in front of me. The other cars all around me and my speedometer. I kept my eye on that tarp. And sure enough, as the highway went up a hill and around a curve, the plastic sheet came undone, floated upward for a second, and billowed right toward me. At that moment, I was completely calm. It was like time had elongated. I was present to notice how beautifully and elegantly the material caught the air, flowing like a dancer's skirt. I could tell it was going to land across my windshield and cover my view. So I decided to keep driving and see what would happen. Right after it covered me, I got pulled into the slipstream and whipped over the car. And when I looked in the rearview mirror, the sheet had dropped to the ground and no longer a danger. About 10 seconds later, because it seemed like forever, I found myself shaken by the experience, a combination of adrenaline and, oh my God, did that just happen? careening around my nervous system. All of this was going on. And yet I recognized that if I'd seized up with fear and slammed on the brakes instead of meeting what actually arrived, I could have gotten seriously hurt. The Reverend Dr. Samuel Wells notes that the ability to act from presence and instinct is the goal of theological ethics. To be so present in the moment and so steeped in our spiritual values, beliefs, and aspirations that we can act from that place without needing to think about it. It's no longer what we do, it's who we are. This is a moment when those of us living right now in the United States must ask ourselves who we are as a country. More than that, how can we become something better, especially for those struggling in the margins? Staying present to what's real, what is real, our world, our hopes, our stories, can help us embody our values, whatever comes our way. So let us pray. Spirit of presence, may we meet what arrives with open hearts and open minds. And may our commitments and aspirations run so deep that choices become obvious, even in the midst of complexity. Amen and Ashe. And now, right before the prelude gets going, Anything You Can Do by Irving Berlin. Carlos and Joan are going to come up here and sing, but they've given me a little something to share. It's a brief scene. I'm not talking in my mic?
No, you're off. You were using that one.
Hello?
Not me.
Uh-oh.
You're on.
So I am. Okay, a scene from Annie Get Your Gun. At this point of the story, Annie has become a celebrated sharpshooter rivaling Frank, who initially underestimated her abilities. Frank, while still romantically interested in Annie, struggles with her outshining him professionally. And then Annie, in turn, refuses to back down and asserts herself as an equal or better than Frank.
Face it, Annie. You might be good, but you'll never be as good as I am.
Oh, is that so? Well, anything you can do, I can do better.
Ha! You can't do anything better than me.
Oh, yes, I can. Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Anything you can do, I can do better. Slowly, I can shoot a partridge with a single cartridge.
I can get a sparrow with a bow and arrow.
I can live on bread and cheese.
And only on that?
Yes!
So can a rat. Anything you can buy, I can buy cheaper.
I
can
can
buy anything cheaper than you.
50 cents.
40 cents.
30 cents?
20 cents.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Anything you can say, I can say softer.
I can say anything.
I can drink my liquor faster than a flicker.
I can drink it quicker and get even sicker.
I can open any safe.
Without being caught.
Yes.
That's what I thought. You crook.
Any note you can hold, I can hold longer.
I can hold any note longer than you.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No,
yes,
you-
I.
Yes, you
Anything you can wear, I can wear better. In what you wear, I look better than you.
In my coat,
In your vest.
in my shoes.
In your hat.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Anything you can say, I can say faster. I can say
I can say anything faster than you.
No, you can't. I can jump a hurdle.
I can wear a girdle.
I can knit a sweater.
I can fill it better.
I can do most anything.
Can you bake a pie?
No.
Neither can I.
Any note you can sing, I can sing sweeter.
I can sing any note sweeter than you.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't, can't.
Yes, I can, can.
Yes,
I'm shocked because I can't. How poets pray. What do you do with the secret verses of your heart? With your need for redemption, the story without words, with paradoxical truth, too private and nuanced to share, that cannot be printed or spoken aloud. You weave your energy into a poem, carefully, carefully, over and under and through luminescent strands that cannot be unteased until the poem is shot through with light from an unknown origin, and you whisper it into the dark.
Please rise and body your spirit as we sing our hymn 311. Let it be dance, number 311, let it be dance. Start and round again. Cha-cha-cha.
Cha-cha-cha. Isn't that a cha-cha? Cha-cha. Cha-cha. Let it be a dance. Well, you may have noticed that we have been talking about stories. And if you haven't noticed, it's written everywhere, in our newsletter, on your handouts this morning, that our theme for the month of January is the practice and power of stories. So you'll hear a lot of stories this month. Last week, Joy shared with us stories about birds, and as much as I tried to get away from the birds, my story that I'm going to share today has something to do with birds. I did not plan it that way, it just popped out, just came along. You know how, let it be a dance, and I was preparing and writing and feeling it, and next thing you know, birds came again. So, you're going to hear a little bit about birds, and you're going to hear some stories today, because that's what this theme is all about. So, let us get started. Our theme again for this month of January is the practice of story. Last Sunday we heard from Joyce Rame, and she shared stories about birds, and some of those stories were very personal. Today we'll continue and explore the power in stories. We're going to talk about both the story and the storyteller. Who among you does not like a good story? They're filled with humor, intrigue, and passion. They are hard to resist. A good story will reach your soul and become a part of you. A part of you. By connecting with the characters, we develop a relationship with the main character, a kinship kind of with the protagonist, as they experience the journey and live the story. A good story is told and retold over and over again because the story is so good. We are drawn to it again and again. Just like the story with Annie. We all know the story. Many of us knew the song, but we just couldn't help ourselves. We were drawn right into it. Oh, I remember Annie. Yes, that's a good story. Such a good story. It became a play and all that. So, continuing. According to Heather MacArthur, she's a contributor for Forbes, quote, storytelling has been part of the human experience since the dawn of time. And I agree. Stories are used to connect with others, experience emotions, and to feel understood. And in businesses and various organizations, and even here in churches and associations, storytelling is critical. It helps to drive change, to build trust and credibility. It helps foster an inclusive and collaborative environment. And that's what we want here. Studies suggest that a great story captures the focus and keeps the audience engaged. And stories that are compelling and relevant to the priorities and concerns of one's audience are often the most heard. But not all is well in Storyland. Stories can be fictional and non-fictional. Both are told repeatedly, and both have significant impact. Let us consider sacred texts, for example. Many of them are filled with mysteries that are never meant to be taken literally, and yet many do. We must remain vigilant and examine what stories we take in or receive as truth in our spirit because of what is called the illusory truth effect. Basically, just because a story is in a sacred text or tickles your fancy does not mean it is accurate or should be taken literally. Here's one of my favorites found from the Bible, the New Testament, the Christian Bible. It's a story about Jesus, obviously, New Testament. So here's Jesus going across a body of water, and the disciples are in the boat with him. They're going along, and a storm comes along. Jesus is in the boat, relaxing and sleeping, and the disciples are panicking. There's a storm, we're in this little boat with you, and you're sleeping. Now, the King James Version, I love this word, the way they says it. This is what the disciples say to Jesus. Old English. Carest thou not that we perish? Always think about that. Carest thou not that we perish? Interesting. Well, Jesus, of course, does care. Right? We can believe that part. He must care. So Jesus gets up, looks about, speaks to the wind and the rains and storms and says, what y'all know it? Peace, be still. That's what he says. And the winds and the waves obey his will. I know some of you also know that song. All your old Baptists back there, y'all know that song. Y'all know that song. Old James Cleveland made it a big hit. But anyway, peace be still. He spoke to the winds and the rains. Peace be still. The winds and the rains, the storm calmed down. Disciples were fine, and they made it to the other side. Now, there are some people that are actually saying to themselves, yeah, that was probably very true. Jesus just got up and it happened. He just spoke and the winds and the rains obeyed. They never want to go a little deeper that maybe he was talking about you scared disciples. Maybe you should have peace in your soul as we are crossing this water. You see what happens when you take it literally and you don't just go a little deeper? You get kind of caught up. And that's what happens. So storytelling is good, but you must pay close attention and make sure you're not drawn into something that may be truth, illusory. It's an illusion. So I wanted to tell that story so you understand. It's a little analogy. Furthermore, when the story becomes a false reality, causing one to begin holding convictions or ideas that are contrary to evidence, it makes me start to question, why? Why are you believing this thing? It's contrary. There's no evidence. You just want to believe it. But just because you want to doesn't mean it is so true. And I started wondering, well, why is this happening? Well, in my opinion, it's all about the way the story makes you feel. Do you relate to it? Do you agree with it? Is it relevant to your priorities, to your concerns, and so forth? If so, then one might be a little swayed to embrace a lie, a fib, an untruth, and surrender to the illusion, even an illusion of choice. Hence, the illusory truth effect. It's a real thing. A good story expressed by a good storyteller is powerful. The storyteller becomes like a song, like music. And she somehow embraces you. She's telling that story, and it starts kind of like singing in your mind. And next thing you know, you're like dancing with this story. Oh, okay, you're following it. You're like almost on the adventure, right along with the storyteller. It just gets that good. She embraced you, that storyteller. She makes you dance with her. She makes you go on that journey, and guess what happens? You just let go, and you stop trying to dance. You just simply are. That is where we get the old wives' tale. It's a wisdom tale, or mother wit, as I grew up calling it, mother wit, mother wisdom. Mothers, with all of that wisdom, would tell us something like this: be careful not to dance to a song that you don't like. Mother wisdom, mother wit. What she's trying to tell you here is a lesson in there. Don't be misled, my children. Don't be misled. That's all Mama's trying to let you know. You know you don't like that song. You know it's not good for you. Why are you dancing to it, baby? You know how mommies can talk to you. Again, storytelling is not a new thing. In fact, before reading and writing our scrolls and codices, as the Romans would call it, storytelling was the way to communicate and teach lessons, history, share culture, inspire commitment, entertain, and more. But stories are not always in words, are they? There's a cave, and there was a painting that was found in a cave in Indonesia, on an island. And it appears to be the earliest known record of storytelling through pictures. A team of Indonesian and Australian researchers say that the work dates back nearly 44,000 years. That's a long time ago. And that is several thousand years older than the European examples of cave art that appear to tell a story. This is proof enough for me that storytelling is not a new way of engaging. In fact, it is believed that it is embedded in the way we as humans sense the world. The way we sense the world in stories. We tell stories to each other all the time, now don't we? But there are a few guidelines important to telling a good story that's beneficial to both the storyteller and the listener. I'm gonna give you a couple of them. Here we go, quick. Stories have to be relevant and purposeful, otherwise you're gonna lose your audience right away. You need to know what matters to the ones who are listening to you or reading your book. Pay attention to those you're trying to reach. Be concise. Getting your readers and listeners from the beginning through the middle and to the end should have a sense of momentum and a pace to it. Otherwise, you'll lose them. Do include facts within your stories. They carry an emotional weight. Allow yourself to take the risk. Go on, tell a few facts. Share about yourself, revealing a deeper layer than our Sunday morning smiles. See, a lot of y'all are smiling, but on the inside, you may not be smiling at all. You got to include some facts, and it can be risky. And definitely include conflict. I know, not like a fight, conflict that you work through. You're telling a story because you're showing them how you worked through something, that you worked through, how it impacted you. Because sometimes, including that conflict, it helps others to process in real time their resistance or objections and mental blocks to the lessons that are contained in your stories. So sometimes you have to let them see that it wasn't so easy for you either. Understand that embedding and unfolding conflict helps the people to stay engaged. They're plugged in as they try to anticipate and mentally solve what the story's resolution is going to be. And lastly, an added benefit is that this helps support your ability to influence and affect change. Isn't that why you're telling the story? Now, I'm going to switch gears because we're getting close to the end. And I want to tell a story. This is a very short story from one of my earliest memories. Are you ready? Yes. Let the dance begin. Okay, we're going to dance. I was 5 years old, and it was 1965 or 66, and I was in the kindergarten. The first day of school was always in September because I was in the Northeast. And I had been 5 for 7 months by the time school started. My birthday was early in the year. And I was suddenly a big girl, ready for PS 123 in Queens, New York. In case you don't know, PS stands for public school. So I went to public school 123, and it was 3 blocks from my house. And Granddaddy, that's what we called my grandfather. We didn't say Granddaddy. We said Granddaddy. So Granddaddy, my grandfather, he used to walk me to and from school. And back then, you know, in the kindergarten, school was like, 3.5 hours max. So he would walk me the little 3 blocks down there. And I always felt safe with him. He was a big, tall man who smoked cigars. To this day, I love the smell of cigars. And I have a little secret. Years ago, I used to slip into cigar bars, order a glass of wine, and sip and smell burning cigars, wine and whiskey and leather. It reminded me of Granddaddy. Even now, whenever I smell cigar smoke or smell a cigar, even see a cigar, I'm drawn to it. It brings me back home. So every morning, on my way to school, we would finally get there. And the schoolyard, we children were just running about as we do, until we heard the whistle. The whistle would go. And then we knew to go to our places, line up in 2 lines, form 2 lines in front of our teacher, and then we would go inside to the auditorium and sing songs. I remember how overwhelmed I felt and small inside the large assembly. But I would soon settle down and join in singing. And I had a favorite song. I do not know the name of it, but I remember the melody and a few words. I'm going to share it with you, and you know how it is. You don't have to turn my mic off when I try and sing this song. And I'm going for it. So remember, It's a kiddie song, so it was real cute back then. It may not be as cute to you, but it was cute. This is how the song went. Anna Maria, wake up, it's morning time, wake up, the birds are singing to creak the sun, wake up and join the fun. That was the whole song. Oh, I just love that song. And did you hear what I said? The birds are singing to what? Creek. To creak the sun. Creek, as in water, right? But of course, I was 5. I had no idea what a creek was anyway. So I just sang it. The birds are singing to creek the sun. Wake up and join the fun. So I did say that creek. My vocabulary was very limited. I sang that song all around the house, all at home. No one ever noticed that I was singing the wrong word, because you obviously know the birds don't get up in the morning and sing a song to creek the sun. Well, as time would have it, a wonderful earworm. You know what an earworm is, right? We talked about earworms, and you get like a song, you may not even like it, you don't even know the song, but for some reason you keep singing that song in your mind. It's just worming around in there. So, many years ago, the song was worming its way through my brain. It still does. And I was singing it. Anna Maria, wake up, it's morning time, wake up, the birds are singing to creek. Creek. To creek the sun. And it suddenly occurred to me, after so many years, that the line the birds are singing to creek the sun was ridiculous. Even though I must have been singing it for 20, 30 years. It took me that long. What in the world can creek the sun mean? So off I went thinking of words that rhymed with creek and that would fit with the rest of the line. I know you all figured it out by now. The birds are singing to greet the sun, not creek the sun, to greet the sun. Wake up and join the fun. So one more time. Anna Maria, wake up, it's morning time. Wake up, the birds are singing to greet the sun. Wake up and join the fun. Excellent. So what is the lesson or lessons in my story? Right, because I'm telling the story. Yeah, so you all were drawing in. I know you were drawing in because you were singing the song and smiling and giggling. So it's like, okay, give us the point. Or did I give it to you already? Wonder. Well, there is a whole lot to unpack in that little story. Here we go. I want you, as I run through some of the lessons I learned as I unpack my story, see if you can count them. Memories. First thing about the story is memories. Not always accurate, creaking the sun, just like our hearing. Earworms. I got lessons about earworms. Not actually so bad, all those earworms. I used to think they were a bad thing. But because of the earworm, I finally figured out what the real words were to the song. So it caused me to make a correction. I learned it's okay to go back and correct yourself. My beloved wake-up song is now correct. And yeah, it does seem that birds do rise early in the morning, now don't they? Oh, yeah, see? They like to get up about an hour before sunrise, just when it's starting to get light. We call that dawn. Songbirds, they begin singing at dawn, and some like to get started early, even before the sun comes up. This behavior is known as crepuscular. Got that word? Crepuscular. Singing, where the birds communicate. So they're not just singing to be singing, they're communicating with each other. And it also includes, be aware, you might have to defend the territory. All this is going on early in the morning with the songbirds. My friends, my story not only reminds me of the past, which are memories, gives me sweet memories of Granddaddy, but it gave me a song, multiple earworms that I learned something from. The song still brings me joy. It taught me a lesson about birds, gave me a new vocabulary word about birds and how they communicate and defend their territory. You see, it's hard to count them. I know you lost count. You see, not only have we humans been telling stories for thousands and thousands of years to keep us informed, safe, happy, and productive, But the birds, they're singing their stories and keep themselves safe, happy, and productive, just like we are doing. All of this I learned from that little short children's story I just told and the song that went along with it. My friends, my siblings, no one knows your story like you do. No one has gleaned as many lessons from your stories as you have. Remember your stories, learn from your stories, and share your stories. After all, who doesn't like a good story? Amen and ashe.
It's time for the offertory joke. Now you know, laughter makes you generous. Now Albie gave me a good joke. However, I have a joke that involves a cat, and cat jokes always trump everything else. So once upon a time, a tragic accident happened, and a group of mice got killed, and they entered the pearly gates. And there was St. Peter, and he welcomed them. And he said, "Welcome, mice. I know you had a hard life." And the leader of the mice said, "Yes, it was difficult. We had to run everywhere. The dogs were chasing us. The farm equipment was chasing up us. The farmer's wife and her big nasty broom. It was tough. Our little legs got so tired, all this running." So St. Peter said, "Well, how can I help you?" And the mouse leader said, "Well, do you think we could have some roller skates?" And St. Peter said, "Oh, no problem." And before you knew it, all these little mice had tiny little roller skates, and they were happily rolling all around paradise. So St. Peter was making his round, and he came up to this old cat. And he said, "Hello, cat. How are you?" And the cat said, "Oh, I'm wonderful. Thank you so very much for this beautiful soft pillow. I love the color. I love the lace around it. It's so soft. But most of all, thank you for the Meals on Wheels." I apologize. We appreciate your generous donations and pledges, which support our dedicated staff, beautiful facilities, inspiring services, interesting activities, and social outreach at All Faith. We invite our visitors to place their complete visitor cards in the offertory baskets. Live streamers, please mail checks or visit our website, allfaithuu.org. Our offering will now be taken and gratefully received.
I am just a poor boy, though my story's seldom told. I have squandered my resistance for a pocket full of numbers, such are promises. All eyes are unjust till the man hears what he wants to hear and disregards the rest. When I left my home and family, I was no more than a boy in the company of strangers, in the quiet of a railroad. The ragged people go looking for places they would know. La la la, la 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 la, la la la, la 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 la. Asking only workman's wages, I can only look for job. Just to come on from the whores on 7th Avenue, comfort there, ooh la 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 la. Then I'm laying out my winter clothes and wishing I was gone, going home, where the New York City winters aren't bleeding me, bleeding me, going home. In the clearing stands a boxer and his fighter, he cried out in his anger and his shame, I am leaving, and the fight still remains. La la la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la.
Beautiful, Carlos. I'm going to say a few closing words and a quick little benediction, and then we'll sing a song and go get something to eat. To speak, listen to, and care for our stories. May we have the courage to speak, write, and share the stories within us that need to be told. The stories that make up our lives. May we listen with a loving mind and heart to the stories of others' lives, others here in this congregation, this space, and others in our wider community and world. Let us choose with care the stories that we teach to our children, remembering that all of our stories have power and that all of our stories are connected, for all of life is one. And now, the blessing of truth be upon us, the power of love direct us and sustain us, and may the peace of this community preserve our going and our coming from this time forth until we meet again. Amen and Ashe.
You got a fast car, and I want a ticket to get anywhere. Maybe we can make a deal. Maybe together we can get somewhere. Any place is better. Starting from zero, got nothing to lose. Maybe we can make something. Me and my friend have got nothing to prove. You got a fast car. I got a plan to get us out of here. I've been working on the convenience store. I can go with jobs, finally means to be pleased to be living. See, my old man's got a problem. He lives in the bottle, that's the way it is. He says, body's too old for working. I say, his body's too young to look like his. My mama said I left him. She wanted more from life than he could give. I said, somebody's got to take care of him. So I quit school and this is what I did. Oh, sorry. You got a fast car. Is it fast enough we could fly away? We gotta make a decision. Leave tonight or live and die this way. So I remember we were driving in your car. Speed so fast I felt like I was drunk. City lights lay out before us and your arm felt right on my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belonged. I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. You got a fast car. We go cruising. You'll find work and I'll get promoted. We'll move out and shelter, buy a big house and live in the suburbs. So I remember we were driving in your car. Speed so fast I felt like I was drunk. City lights lay out before us and your arm was right on my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belonged. I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. You got a fast car. Is it fast enough so we can fly away? You gotta make a decision. We either leave tonight or live and die this way. That was so fast. Thank you.
Johnson for her inspiring and happy message today, and our Director of Music, Carlos Garcia, and Joan Marshall for a great song, and all the others who contribute to our service. May I ask Linda Runkle, please come up to extinguish the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world. Please join us in the social hall immediately now for conversation, coffee, and cookies. Have a great week, and we'll see you next Sunday. Thank you. Bye-bye.